Hi, Mark Farmer, Life Success Engine. See if I can adjust this all to capture my best side. Do me a favor if you would, if you are watching this even later, just post something in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I do much better talking with people. Quickly, I am going to be talking about vulnerability today, about being your real self, being your authentic self. These are words that are used a lot. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but the the idea of vulnerability has reared its ugly head again recently in my life. And so oftentimes what you're supposed to do is say, we'll be talking about X, Y, or Z. So stay tuned and listen to the broadcast. I'm not sure what we'll get to or where this is going. So feel free to browse around this broadcast. Click forward 30 seconds and find out what I'm talking about. Click forward five minutes. If you like what I have to say, I would love if you subscribe to the channel, if you like this, or in particular, if you share this. So vulnerability. This came up in my mind regarding dating in particular. And oftentimes there's this question about how much should you reveal of who you are. And real quick, for anyone joining me, feel free to add into the comments. Would like to see your comments, and I can see your comments as you come on board. But so how much of yourself should you reveal? And this recently came up in a conversation with a client talking about, but if I share my weaknesses, they might be used against me. This was in the context of whether or not this client would be liked by her family, or in particular by the connections that she had on Facebook. And it always strikes me as odd, but I've thought about this topic for a long time. I don't understand, and sorry, a little bit more directly to the comment was, why I don't want to post about my real life on Facebook, because some people that I'm connected to might disapprove of it. But you hear the same comment regarding vulnerability in the context of dating. Why would I talk about the most painful parts of my life? You ask, why wouldn't you? Oh, because maybe they'll use it against me. In business, why would I talk about the sensitive parts of my area? Well, that might make me look less than. Why? My question for those clients are, why would you want to remain connected to on Facebook, or date somebody who would use your weaknesses against you? Those sensitive, touchy areas of yourself, if you're connected to people on Facebook that are going to make fun of you or think worse of you, I'd like to know that as early and quickly and as easily as I can. If in working for business, if people are going to think less of me because of who I am, those are not the right clients for me. In dating, if I'm dating somebody who thinks less of me because of some reality of my life, I'd like to find out easier. I'd like to find out more quickly that they think less of me, because that's not somebody for my life. I think that the idea, I often say that it's only the strong that can afford to be vulnerable. If you're weak, if you're scared to death of what power somebody might hold over you, if you need to look for people's approval and acceptance, if your life is not enough and you're dependent on someone else for love, attention, money, affection, then absolutely you risk losing out on that, not pleasing them by being honest about who you are. Instead of going into that dysfunctional cycle and just working harder to please people, why don't you work harder to please yourself so that you don't need that external approval, affection, love, in particular from people who don't really approve of who you are anyways. To the one person who was not being honest about their life on social media, The question was, why in the world would you want to be connected to a bunch of people who wouldn't accept who you really are? And for this person, I don't think they realized the cost they were paying. In essence, it was a dismissal, a rejection of themselves. That the approval they received from people who wouldn't accept them for what they really were really conflicted with their knowledge that they probably weren't approvable if they really legitimately acknowledged out loud who they were. What a mind fuck. Why would you work hard for approval from people who won't accept you for who you are by denying who you are so that you know that their approval isn't really for who you are, it's for who you pretend to be? Why would you do that to yourself? There are some profound things that happen by choosing to be vulnerable and live out loud. Number one, by living out loud, by bringing who you are and how you feel and what you think and what you do out into the light of day, the first thing that you do is you're confronted with the reality of what you're doing. And there's one of two things. That is either acceptable to you. Let's just talk about you. You can't please everybody in the world. That's either acceptable to you or it's embarrassing to you. That is either honorable to you or that is shameful to you. But bringing out who you are and how you believe and what you do out into the light of day, either if you feel shame about it, then that reinforces that you need to change it. Look, if you're the kind of person that cheats or you lie or you steal, and you started honestly admitting that out loud and you're embarrassed about it and you receive some condemnation from it, well, that's all the more support for starting to change those aspects of yourself. And let's be honest, we all have aspects of ourselves that are less than honorable. But if we start living out loud and admitting that, acknowledging that out loud, and being honest about that out loud, it's possible that shame might help us to change. But on the other hand, if we live out loud and we feel that we did it for the right reasons, and we're happy for why we did it, well, then that honor helps to reinforce that who we are. But living out loud, being vulnerable, helps you to begin steering yourself to a place where you are more happy with who you are. Number two, living out loud does reveal the people in your life who will use it against you, who think less of you, who don't approve of you. And my question to you is, why do you want those people in your life? Why do you want to work harder to hold on to people who don't really approve of who you are than you would work to develop a life that you approve of? We all need approval. We all need people in our lives that approve of us. We don't need any one person. But I'd offer, make it as easy and as quick and as least effort as possible to identify the people that don't approve of who you are at your core. As you start living out loud and start revealing who you are, there will be people who use it against you. Get the fuck rid of them. There will be people who indicate that you're less than or they don't admire you or make fun of you. Get the fuck rid of them. Why do you want to walk through life carrying these people on your back? They don't approve of who you really are anyways. The first thing that you deserve is approval for who you really are. And so as you take the courage to begin living out loud and living vulnerable, this will help you to identify the people. You don't need 100 people in your life. You need 5 people who genuinely love who you are. And having the courage to live confidently and out loud helps you to begin honing in for yourself on what you admire about yourself and what is congruent with your life. And the people in your life, those 5 people, those 10 people, those 5 close friends that genuinely love you for who you are, those 50 people who genuinely value you for what you represent, but don't you know you so well, those 500 people around you. There are 6 billion people in this world. You don't need the approval of 6 billion people. It's not, you can't even interact with 6 billion people. What you need is 5 people who genuinely love you for who you are, but that starts with living out loud for who you are and orienting around those people and getting rid of, to some extent, it's a process of getting rid of all the people who don't value you or don't acknowledge you or think that you're less than. That's Life Success Engine. I hope that you'll like comment and pass this on. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.